Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Portugal Makes Sense conferences. This panel will address the topic engineering and tooling. Portugal boasts a strong cluster in molds and plastic injection, historically with strong ties with German automotive sector. Presently, new sectors and new processes are being embraced to differentiate and diversify. Portuguese companies will present you with different products such as children toys, car interiors, or medical devices. Before the discussion, may I have your attention to the opening remarks by Bernardo Yves Cruz, the Secretary of State for Internationalization.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. It's a pleasure for me to be here to open this important panel on the molding industry. And I'd like to just make a few remarks before we start. And I will not say anything about Portugal or how important Portugal is or how wonderful Portugal is. I will just quote the German Chancellor or the German Minister of Finances or the German Ambassador, who have been so gracious and so generous with their remarks regarding Portugal and the relation between Portugal and Germany over the last few days. And they did so because it makes sense. Portugal makes sense, and it makes sense on the partnership that we have between our two countries. Let me just give you a few figures that were published yesterday and the days before on the realities of Portugal. In terms of our economics position at the moment, we have been growing in 2021, we grew almost 5%. And yesterday, on the first quarter of 2022, Portugal grew 11%. We are the country in Europe that is growing fastest comparing to all other countries. Our exports in 2021 grew 13%, and in the first quarter, 47%. And our unemployment is growing at 3.8%, and our unemployment is all-time lowest at 5.8% in February. In terms of investment, we are on the top 10 of best countries to invest in Europe, and the second most open country for foreign investment among 68 countries of the OCDE. Risk perceptions, we are the lowest risk in global peace and the best country in Europe in cybersecurity in 2021. And we are, as we all know, a green destination, a green country. We are the fourth country in the European Union to stop using coal for energy production. 59% of Portuguese consumption comes from renewables, and we are the fifth country in the European Union with the largest share of renewables. Talent and skills, we have the third largest cohort of engineer graduates in the OECD, and 4 of our universities rank among the 50 best universities in the world for Master and Financing. I could go on and on and on. I don't want to bother you on numbers and figures. But I want to stress this. When the Chancellor of Germany says that Portugal makes sense, he knows what he's talking about. Portugal is a country of the present, but is a country of the future. And our relation between Portugal and Germany, between Portuguese companies and the German companies, that strengthens in time and carries on the future is the demonstration of that realization. We are, as we always have been, a trusted friend of Germany. We are, as always have been, a trusted partner in Europe, and we work well in Europe and across the world. The way that Germany and Portugal look at the issues are very similar. The way that Portuguese businesses and German businesses look at issues are very similar. And the way that we conduct our businesses are very complementary. Let me just add one thing about the mold industry before passing the floor to people who actually know what they're talking about when we talk about molds. Molds are always ahead in the future. If you look at the mold industry, you will know what will happen in 3, 4, 5, 6 years. The characteristic and the nature of this industry is to be before market changes, before client changes, before consumer changes. We need to be modern, we need to be in the loop, we need to be ahead of time. And that is what the mold industry in Portugal does. And add to that the fact that the industry is completely integrated within their clients. The mold industry needs to work in the whole spectrum of the supply chain. But it's the beginning of the supply chain. So if you want to know what the future looks like, you need to look at the mold industry in Portugal. Thank you so much for your attention.
The Portuguese engineering and tooling sector is very globalized, exporting most of its production. This sector meets the demand of over 200 markets. Portuguese engineering and tooling sector is very innovative, delivering components that meet the requirements of the most demanding clients. An overview of the Portuguese engineering and tooling cluster sector will be presented by Rui Toca, the General Director of PoolNet, and Manuel Oliveira, the Secretary General at SMAFOL. The panel will showcase the reach of Portuguese engineering and tooling, the range of industries it covers, and we will go deeper into an innovation case. It is a global sector. It means demanding markets. It addresses multiple industries. We will now move our panel, mold making, special tooling and plastic. Our guests will be Pedro Pereira, CEO at Ibero Moulds, Vitor Cortes, engineering from Celoplage, Henrique Rezio, General Manager at Soplast, Rui Toca, the General Manager at PoolNet, Manuel Oliveira, the General Secretary at SMAFOL. Our moderator will be Joaquim Menezes, the President of EFRA.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. And we have the 5 panelists with 2 different areas or profiles. So the first of them will be like institutional for our industry, and then 3 companies will be talking about what they do as innovation every day. So mold making engineering related with development of products is not a new thing. We do it, you know, not only for business, but basically because we export 95% of what we do. So Germany has been a partner with the industry, is one of our main markets, and our competition in Germany is a reference, but also we work hand to hand in collaboration regarding the promotion of our sector. So I'll give the floor to Rui Tocha.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to present to you the cluster engineering and tooling, which is basically a cluster that integrates the industry of mold making and the industry of plastics. So the global value chain, because Portugal is a solution provider to support global clients. And mold making is an infrastructural industry because it's in the critical path of product development. If you look around, you can identify a lot of products. I would say a huge number of products that need plastic, they need tools, they need molds to be produced. So, and this industry has a long experience exporting their products abroad to more than 80 countries, imagine. So it's a huge market. And this industry is very concentrated in the center of Portugal, in the region of Marinha Grande and Leiria, near Coimbra, I would say. and around Porto, near Oliveira das Meias and Aveiro. And the cluster has been created to integrate this capacity to support companies, to promote them, and to show to the world how these companies are so innovative. And we have been together with the association, the universities, and the companies, trying to develop and promote the most important activities, not only at the level of product, but also at the level of technology and at the level of the market promotion. And talking about promotion, we have been using our collective brand, which shows this capacity to support clients from design to product. And we have been promoting this everywhere, all over the world, showing the capacity that our companies have to support global clients. And you can see in this image the mold exploding products. This is the idea, to show that is a critical industry to Europe and of course to Portugal to support this initiative. Of course, to promote products, to develop products, we need innovation. We need innovation not only to create new things, but to understand and to develop solutions to process the materials, to process the activities from the part of the industry in a way that can be efficient. This is the major capacity that we have been discussing at the European level with other countries, and we have a strategic roadmap that we discuss with all the countries in Europe within the European tooling platform that we have been developing at Europe. And for that, we then are organizing different approaches in different countries to support innovation. At the present moment, just in Portugal, we have more than 50 million euros on research projects involving more than 100 companies and 50 research centers and universities. And this is really a critical mass for innovation, joining the capacities of these partners to help companies to present their solutions in the market. I have here two case studies. One is this S4+, is a large project involving several companies, universities, dealing with sustainability and circular economy. We all know that the plastic is on fire. Everybody is trying to look to the plastic as a bad way, but plastic is a product that is rising, and we have to identify new plastics, new products, and the way how we can use them, how we can process them, and we can reintroduce them in the production. And this is the main aim of this project. The second project that I bring here is the PT Centro D. Is dedicated to digitalization. So our cluster is organized with other clusters in the region, and we have been coordinating this network to support the digitalization of the companies and the public institutes, bringing the experience, the know-how, and the example of our industry, because the tooling and the plastic sector has been for a long time in this process of digitalization, and we are using this to support companies to make test before invest, to find innovative programs. And so, to finalize, I just want to say that we try to work together with our partners, not only at the national level, with the research centers in other countries, with the companies and clients, and we want to bring confidence. And bringing confidence, you need to have know-how, you need to have capacity, and this is why this industry, this cluster, become capital and knowledge intensive in a very short period, and nowadays is very important to launch and support global products. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present the mold making industry in Portugal. I'll make a brief overview of our sector and to try to explain how it's becoming different and how it's searched by our clients around the world. Okay, so I'm representing CEFAMOL, that is the Portuguese Mold Making Association. And I would like to make a brief introduction on the Portuguese mold making industry. As already said, based in two main areas, distance for 150 kilometers one for the other, so they are very close one to the other. But this brings, under these regions, brings the third European producer of molds and the eighth on the world level. So we are talking about 490 million euros on exports. It was, to be realistic, the worst year in a row, but you understand the context of pandemics. It wasn't easy, but now it's coming back and increasing. So we had 85% of exports. We have about 500 companies and 10,000 people working on this field. We export, as already said, to 87 countries in the world. So a global presence. And you can see it here where we are based and where are our clients, mostly in Europe, but also in other regions and continents around the world. If you go more in detail, you'll see that Germany is our main market in our days. All the other countries, Spain, France, Czech Republic, Poland, United States, Mexico, they are important to us, but in fact, Germany is the first one. But this is not only on last year. If you take a look from 2015, and I just take the last years to present, you'll see that Germany was always the first or the second market to the Portuguese mold makers. This shows the confidence that the German companies have in our sector, in our companies, and the ability they have to meet their requirements. In terms of clients, of course, mostly is automotive. Almost 80% is automotive. But we are also involved on packaging, on medical devices, on electronics, and such aeronautics as well. Other areas that are also in development and that are added value industries, of course. But let me show you a little bit about strategy and positioning that is based on these four items. Innovation, has already been presented. On networking, the capability and the capacity to work together with clients, with suppliers, with competitors. Also the know-how, specialized training people and that are very experienced on the mold making, and of course technology. Large investment on technology and cutting-edge technology is available in our companies. So we are more and more integrating processes that come from the concept and the design to the product engineering, to the prototyping, to the mold and tooling, but also to the manufacturing. And you'll see on the companies that will make the presentation after, that this is a reality in our days. So we, as has been said, we work together. We have the capacity to deliver a common solution. And of course, we are working in sustainability and added value. So, in fact, we are supporting the digital transition, not only of our companies, but our clients. So we are bringing simulation, digital twin, automation and robotics, additive manufacturing to our field of activity. And this is quite important also to support decarbonization and circular economy. So sustainability is important to us because more and more you need to be efficient and to use clean technologies. So to reduce materials and energy consumption and to organize and promote the circular economy through life cycle management. So this is quite important, and that's what we are delivering to our clients. So we'll say, why Portugal? Well, we have, as has been said, innovative and integrated solutions. We are adaptable and flexible to customer requirements. We have working on efficiency and cost reduction on manufacturing, but also using cutting-edge technology, time to market that is more and more important, but after-sales services. So be close to our customers, to be working together with them. So we are building together strategic partnerships to support this worldwide integration, to bringing international experience and know-how, but also a cluster of competitiveness where we have all these issues together. So yes, we choose Portugal. Thank you very much.
Before we go to listen to our companies, I would like to make a point regarding the two presentations. And it's very much to do with our export rate. When we are serving a full value chain in engineering and tooling and also in components in plastic, we really are competing in the world. And it is important to retain that we have to compete with the best in the world. So our competitors are the best in the world, and they treat us as competitors. They treat us like colleagues that they like, they appreciate, and in many cases we share together many strategies and trends. We have common web seminars today, and it's very interesting when we get together with our German friends and our German competitors. We are like a network of friends, and this is very important to mention because you know, slowly we are getting our position in the world. Everybody respects us because we are a small country, and we are the biggest export of Portugal of molds in the world. So I would like to now to change to our companies. You will see that we have here 3 companies, and these 3 companies are diverse, and I give the floor to Pedro Pereira.
Hello, good afternoon. It's here, it's okay. First, I would like to greet my colleagues of the panel, the members of the government, the audience, on the person of Mr. Menezes. Also, I'd like to thank the Trade and Investment Portuguese Agency for the invitation to make part of this panel, as well as the organization of this important event. Going directly to the point for next 9 minutes, I'd like to present, as our Prime Minister said on Sunday, one example of the best that we have in Portuguese industry. In this case, mold making industry. In my particular case, I would like to present Ibero Molds. Ibero Molds Group, more than a group of the companies, is by itself a cluster of the competences and the knowledge. Through by all companies that make part of the group, Ibero Mold is present in all parts of the value chain. We are able to support the clients in product development, engineering, prototyping, industrialization, including molds, equipment, control gauges, etc. And we are able to support our clients also in the production and assembling of the parts. In few words, I used to say Ibero Molds is a cluster of the competences to offer a complete and integrated solution. In terms of our structure, from the beginning, the group was developed under the principle of the specialization. It means all of our companies are focused in different competences in order to be specialized, flexible, competitive, and in the end, offer a complete and integrated solution. This is the most important for us. In terms of the group, we are divided in 2 business areas, in products and engineering, prototyping, and mold making areas. In products, we have Iberolef. Iberolef is a company with plants in Portugal, Brazil, and one-off in German. In mold making unit, we have different companies. We have SET. SET is the company focused for sales and engineering. We have Abrantes. Abrantes is the first mold making company that was founded in Portugal, was founded in 1945. We have Edilásio. Edilásio is the third mold making company that was founded in Portugal, was founded in 1950. We have also Portumold. Portumold is a company focused to produce medium and molds for die casting. And we have Iberonorma. Iberonorma is a company focused to produce the standard parts and mold bases in order to support the other companies that we have to produce the molds. And in the order to support the group, in all companies, we have also a professional training center where we perform the seminars, workshops, and professional trainings. In resume, Iberomolds was founded in 1975. Nowadays, the group has 10 companies in 3 different countries. Last year, our turnover was about 80 millions. We export over 90%. Main markets are Germany, Switzerland, Spain, Belgium, etc. In terms of people, we are more or less 1,200 people. In terms of our worldwide presence, we are present in Portugal, of course, Brazil, and Germany. In the dark blue, it's possible to have one overview of the presence, the location of our main clients and some partners. In terms of markets, as I said before, the automotive is one. We are also present in medical device, consumer applications, aerospace, electric, electronic, and packaging. Our main market is the automotive, about 65%, and the second one is the medical device, about 15%. In terms of our offer, as I mentioned before, Iberomolds is a cluster of competencies who is able to support the clients in all phases of the value chain. The main message is complete and integrated solution. In terms of tooling, Iberomolds has capabilities and competencies to make 2-3 key molds: gas injection, over molding, stack molds, in-mold decoration, etc. As I mentioned before, more than molds, Iberomolds has competences on industrialization. It means we have competences to develop the equipment, control gauges, grippers, in resume, all equipments that make part of the production lines. In terms of production, Iberomolds has units in Portugal and Brazil with more than 100 injection machines with a clamping force between 6 tons up to 2,300 tons, automatic painting units, hot stamping, ultrasonic welding lines, hot air welding lines, laser welding, assembling lines. Generically, by this picture is possible to see, to have one overview of our units. In next 6 slides, I'm going to present, is running by itself. I'm going to present some examples of our presence. In automotive is a very good example of the project where Iberomolds made the product development, the prototyping, the industrialization, including the molds, the equipment, the grippers, the control gauges. And nowadays we are producing and assembling these kind of parts, and we are supplying for new Porsche 911, the air vents and the cup holders. Medical devices. Here you can see a very good example of the parts where Iberomolds is involved. Trays for pharma sector. Electric. In this particular case, it's possible to see one example of our participation where the multi-component is more and more frequent. In luggage, on this sector is very well known our long-term partnership with Samsonite, where every year we are participating on the new development of the new luggage. And finally, I would like to present one example of the products that we are able to do also in the packaging sector. In the end, I would like to give a note. I think it's not easy to see, but I would like to give you a note about our investment in terms of R&D. Here is possible to see, to have an overview of the last projects that we did in the past, over 40 projects in the last years. Our strategy is very simple, is develop the knowledge and the competencies in different matters, basically materials, process, technologies, etc. And, of course, it's not possible to do everything by alone. We do this with 40 international and national research centers. And I think that's all for this moment. Thank you.
Next one.
Good afternoon. My name is Vitor Cortes, as already been announced here, so thank you for the opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here. Okay, let me just... So, Celoplast, it's a, let's say, small company compared with Ibero Molds. We are also a group of 4 companies. Basically, I will just present capabilities of the mother company, Celoplast, which is the big one, let's say. I will just make an overview of Celoplast. So Celoplast, the mother company, is implemented in a total area of 40,000 square meters, a building area more than 12,000 square meters. We are around 180, let's say, employees in the company, and we have all the most important certifications to be prepared and to be worked in the several areas, including the medical one that we are now, let's say, finishing the certification. So basically, let's say our value chain, let's say it's we have a strategy, and then we have an R&D department. We have also our development. We have our tool design, because we are producing our own tools internally in Celoplast, just for our internal consumption, which means that we are not selling the tools to our customers. Basically, we are selling because the tools, they are property of our customers, but we are producing the tools to, let's say, supply our own production internally. We also have the injection molding production. We are injecting thermoplastics, thermosettings, LSER, liquid silicone rubbers, and also TPEs. So, and also have some capabilities in another company of the group, which is Celoprint, to make some finishing, let's say, activities like assembly, painting activities, tempo print, etc. And then, of course, we are expediting and shipping the parts around the world. And we are exporting more than 18% directly or indirectly, let's say, our products. So basically, our big competencies, as I already described, it's the thermoplastics injection molding, LSER, liquid silicone rubbers, complex overmolding that I will show you in a few minutes. We also have 2K and 3K overmolding between thermoplastics and elastomers, and thermoplastics and liquid silicone rubbers. Micro-injection molding, it's also, let's say, a very big adventure on Celoplast, with a single and separated department, because we are talking about in different worlds. Basically, here we are talking about on the normal world of the injection molding in the range of clamping force between, I would say, 20 tons of clamping force, and in the case of Saloplage, 400 of tons in terms of clamping force. When we are talking about micro-injection molding, we are talking about in 0.1 grams of volume of weight in a shot. So it's a very big difference when we are comparing, let's say, the two worlds here. So our option to present to you here today was to divide, let's say, two levels of, let's say, competencies and projects and technologies. The first one, let's say, we are calling it medium TRL technologies. So it means that they are not on the market. So let's say we are talking about just in a development projects with some real applications, but let's say they are not being produced in mass production in Saloplage. So the first one that we can present you, it's whole projects, like a three-bone projects, where we are talking about in powder injection molding, which can be using metal injection molding or ceramic injection molding here. So basically, we are talking about in combine a feedstock of ceramic or metallic with a thermoplastic. I have a laser, but I cannot, let's say, point out on the presentation, so I will continue. The second one that you are seeing there on the presentation, it's, we call it a simplified project. Basically, we are producing the supports to implement real teeth, let's say, that can support more than 20 newtons of forces, which is enough, let's say, for our usual use in terms of the teeth. We are talking about in peak materials here, so very high sophisticated materials. And then one last case that we are talking about in LSER injection moldings, so liquid silicone rubber injection molding. And basically this is a project that is currently under development, which is being used for breast implants, so mainly for the ladies. So there is two big challenges here. One of them is the shape, and the other one is the control of the thickness of this kind of part. So this tool is also being, let's say, constructed, and let's say we are doing now the fine tunings, the final one, and this is being, let's say, also patented by Saloplage. So continue on the ME and TRL technology. Now we can, let's say, move to the automotive, let's say, scenario. Here we have several projects, which we call it Celinov, as you can see on the presentation. Basically, this is a partnership between Saloplage and other three companies. This is characterized by magnetic parts, and also a project on lens and micro lens. The picture that you are seeing there, it's related to the magnetic parts, in this case gears, and we have two cases. We can inject the material using a feedstock already, let's say, magnetized, which means that we need to control the direction of the magnetization inside of the tool, and also avoid that the temperature can, let's say, cause some perturbation on the function of the part. This is let's say, a safety part. And the other case is to inject the material without any kind of magnetization and magnetic forces and fields, and then we can, after molding, make the magnetization and the orientation of the field, of the magnetic fields. To speed up this conversation, because we can have a deeply conversation on this, we can present another project related to the automotive industry, which is LEMSA, which is a partnership between Saloplage and another three companies. And basically here, what we are doing, it's in a mold electronics decoration. We have some of these applications in our stand, and you can for sure visit us, and we can explain you more, just to speed up. Now, as I explained, I was presenting what we call it medium TRL technology, and now we can show you high TRL technologies, which are parts that we can consider that are being used in the market. So these are not, let's say, secrets. So here we are presenting a part, or just a small cut on the picture of a 2K molding part between a thermoplastic PBT material and an LSER material. So basically, the very big challenge on this kind of tools is because a thermoplastic material is injected, let's say, with more than 200 degrees. And if we are talking about in a LSER, so silicone, as we use it in our houses, let's say, the silicone will be, let's say, suffer a cure process, let's say, between one component A and B. And this cure will be made with a very low temperature, which means that there is a challenge to control the temperature on both sides of the tools when we have 300 degrees and then we have just 22 degrees on the other part. So it's a very big challenge. Another example are the complex overmoldings of small parts like this with a high technical thermoplastic materials like PPS, which being used more than 20 million per year in a lot of OEMs. And the last cases, it's the high precision gears, not micro gears, but let's say gears to be used in a steering wheels, devices, and etc., which is, let's say, just 1K, but the very big challenge in terms of engineering, it's the circularity, the roundness, let's call it like that, of these parts, because it's a very big challenge. Two examples there, we are testing in several shapes of these parts, because the number of the teeth and also the shape of the teeth. So here, another high TRL technology that we have in Saloplage. It's a mature technology. It's our micro activities, let's call it. We have a single department also in Saloplage. And we have the three, let's say, big capabilities. So we can, let's say, have the engineering and the manufacturing of the tools. So we can construct the tools, and not in a normal department, not in a normal tool shop. We can also inject, because we have micro injection molding machines also. So in this case, button-feld machines. And we also have the capability to check if the condition of our tools and our parts are capable. Okay, so using our micrometrology department. I will finish very quickly, I'm sorry. And of course, just to present our capabilities in terms of our metrology and our quality labs, we can also present you technology like a focus variant microscope, our CT technology, so which means technology, tomography technology, and also our capabilities to measure by optical and rheological equipments. So thank you very much for your attention, and I think Portugal makes sense for sure.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Enrique Rezio from Soplast. Our presentation will be about free-form stretchable electronics for in-car experience. We have unveiled on Monday this technology here at Hannover Messe. I will just make a small 1-minute video of who are we and what is Soplast doing. And if there is sound. So as you could see, we were totally destroyed by fire and we lost everything in 2017. We were forced to reborn again, literally from the ashes, but we came back stronger and I think with new ideas. The problem was that when we were reborn, the times were different. So from additive manufacturing, injection molding, and of course wide assembly processes, it's still in our core businesses, and this is what we do for a living. Two main sectors, the automotive and the construction sectors. Those are the two main activities we have currently at Soplast. And of course, we kept the history and the knowledge from 1980 when we were founded, but also we had to modernize ourselves with a digital factory. So we are proud to have a 4.0 factory today. But also, when we came back alive in 2017, the industry trends were completely different. So autonomous driving was there, digital cockpits were there, but we were not ready for it. So let's say, how could we digitalize what Soplast was doing in our products? Okay, when we think about digitalize, we always go into electronics, but of course we wanted to find something on the market that could avoid the dependency on the high-cost electronics from Asian markets, and would be searching for something that would be easy to produce and honestly with unlimited shapes. So this is the standard. Electronics is always flat, is always rigid, always complex. And of course, for a small company like ours, what could we find on the market that would be really different and make a difference for what we do? So we revealed on Monday the Unique 2, our interior car concept. We settled a really strong partnership with the University of Coimbra in Portugal, the one where I graduated myself almost 20 years ago. And to transform what we thought that could be a new free-form electronics. So basic 3D shapes, stretchable, that would be really easy to integrate, but most of all, that could be recyclable. So here you can see the process of coming alive. It's an ink, conductive, but this special ink has a great ability. Like Soplast, when we cut it, can be back alive on tracks, so she can get together again, and also with a traction capacity of 900%. When we thought is that how could we use this for an interior car? So with the technology and this development and patent that we found, why not put it on an interior, but searching for unlimited shapes, and most of all, transform textile, plastics, or even other materials. So I will show you a video what we presented on Monday. We were lucky to have Mr. Antonio Costa seated on this prototype. Here it is. So this is the Unique 2. Basically what we have found is that with this technology we could integrate sensors on amazing shapes. We made a steering wheel with a free-form capacitive sensor, a seat which is there on the Portuguese pavilion but also on our booth. We transform with this electronic on a simple Alcantara textile with an electronic function. And also we can integrate even the HMI interface using amazing shapes. The idea is to stop the flatness of traditional electronic and make it very simple. And I think the most important of this technology is not only being elastic and stretchable, is that there is no need to weld it, and it's capable of integrating LEDs or other electronic components on this stretchable electronic. I invite you to visit our booth. This little toy is there, ready to be tried. Thank you.
So I want to thank you all because we got the challenge to do the presentations in a certain amount of time, and you really did it precisely, like in the industry. We are a precision industry, and we did it precisely. I would like just to say that the mold making, engineering and mold making, and the components production in plastic is the future. And normally we say that we are a sector of future with future. So all the people that we always need, and we are always challenging the universities, the schools, the training schools, and doing together collaboration between companies to, to revamp our industry and our talents is really a must, because as I said before, our competitors are the worldwide competition in mold making and engineering, and we need to do it, with them, not against them, but with them, competing all the time, because we need the market, and the market is the world. So normally, as Manuel already said, we serve annually around 80 different countries in the world, but we would like to have in mind that along 75 years of the industry age in Portugal, we were really pioneers. We started in '46, and in these all years, 75 years, we exported for more than 120 different countries. And these make us very proud, and also they make us somehow known. And from that knowledge, from our, normally I say, and we have some people here in the audience that knows that our competitors are probably our best salesmen, because they always mention Portugal when it comes to discuss mold making and the production of components. So Portugal makes sense, yeah, especially in our industry, in our sector, and we are here to stay alive and progressing every day. Thank you very much for your attention, and we go on.